episode number 158. Hello, you're listening to the Career Changemaker podcast. Having the courage to leave a career that you have worked hard to build and try something else can be tough. So in each episode, we dive into key career change strategies so that you have a clear understanding of what is required to transition into a new role or a new industry without feeling like you have to start at the bottom or have to take a massive pay cut, because ain't nobody got time for that. If you are ready for frank and honest discussions about how to become a career change maker, keep listening. I'm your host, lawyer turned career strategist and executive coach, Janine Esbrand. Hello, and welcome to the show. I'm excited about today's episode because I am sharing a conversation with two awesome ladies. If you've been following me for any length of time or listening to the podcast, you will know that I made numerous transitions in my legal career before I ultimately went full-time in my business. And one of those transitions was to move into legal consulting. And when I was looking at the options for legal consulting, I came across this company and loved their ethos. I loved what they were doing and how they were approaching providing legal services differently. And so I joined them and I worked with them for a year, and it was such an amazing experience and I really enjoyed it. So today I want to dive in and share with you their journeys and what led them to start the business, which is called LegalEdge, what led them to leave the traditional legal route, and what they are doing now to facilitate flexible working and opportunities for lawyers to work in a way that's different, that's impactful, and that they absolutely enjoy. So without further ado, let's dive into my conversation with Helen and Donna from LegalEdge. Hi, ladies. I'm so excited for you to be here. So before we kick off and dive into our conversation, can you both just introduce yourselves and tell us a bit about you?
Go. Hi, I'm Donna Sewell. I'm CEO of LegalEdge and started the business. Now we're in our 13th year, so nearly 13 years ago, actually. And what else can I tell you? Do you want a bit more than that?
Yeah, anything else you want to share is fine.
What do we do? So we set up LegalEdge to help businesses who needed an in-house lawyer on a flexible basis and didn't want to hire, or were not in a position to hire at that point, a full-time lawyer. And we now provide that service to lots of fast growth tech and media and other companies, but we focus in tech and media in particular. And we provide that service. So we have a team of flexible lawyers who work with us and provide a very good in-house service to our clients.
Awesome.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm Helen. I joined Donna about a year in, didn't I? Coming out of maternity leave. And when I joined, it was really just Donna and Emma, who you'd worked with before. And we've grown the business over the last, 12 for me years. So we are now about 30 people. And it's been great fun.
And Helen's our COO.
Oh, yes, sorry, I'm the COO.
I love it. So before you started the business, you both had legal careers. So tell me a bit about what led you to start the business initially, Donna, and for you, Helen, why did you feel the need to leave your legal career and then move into this role in the business?
So my career was predominantly working in-house in tech companies. I worked in city firms before moving in-house, and then worked in-house for a number of years for a number of different tech companies, heading up legal, particularly the European side of their business. And back in 2009, or 2008, I guess it was, the company I was working for then, Palm, if you guys remember the Palm pilot, I was heading up legal across Europe for that company, and they decided, it's a US-based company, and they decided to shut down Europe for financial reasons, basically. And that was in the middle of the recession back in 2008. So we went around and shut down Europe. And during that time, I sort of had this idea about how, I keep seeing companies and businesses who needed to have a flexible, and I needed it when I was heading up the legal department, I need a flexible resource, but I wasn't able to get it easily. I would either have law firm secondees sent to me, which were frankly of no use to me because it was very much trying to fit a round peg into a square hole. It was, they didn't have the right experience. They were trying to write memos, not really helping the business. I wouldn't have time to supervise, etc. So there was really no flexible resource option other than hiring a contract lawyer, which was also not really flexible at all. So I had this idea of setting up this business. And so when we shut down Europe and I had some time, that's when I basically started the business and started on the back of one particular client. And it gave me the ability to figure this whole model out. And that's how it's all started.
And that was when I talked to Donna. That's when I contacted Donna, who I'd met back in Eversheds days, and said, hey, can you do my maternity leave? And she said, I'm not going to do that. And actually, I'm going to do this instead. And why don't you come and talk to me after you've had your baby? And I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm busy. I need to get my maternity leave person in place. Again, found it really difficult. Couldn't find anybody decent to do the job. Was being offered kind of retired partners from law firms or trainees and just going, they can't do this job. It's not their job. Probably tried to persuade Donna again and then left them to it. No, I didn't. I got somebody good in place and left them to it. But then, long story short, I was halfway through my maternity when, I think I can say it now, the NDA is, far enough behind me, terminated during my maternity leave. And, actually it wasn't an awful experience because the job wasn't something that I was really loving even before. But I remember just thinking, actually, that's fine. I'll go off and do something else. And I think probably like a lot of people, it was a bit of a catalyst for me just to go, actually, I can really change what I'm doing and change how I work. And I was really lucky because I was on maternity leave then. So I had the package they offered me, including outplacement support. So I got a bit of, career counselling, which was also fantastic. And I recommend it to lots of people. And then just probably ran Donna and went, hey, I'm around. Let's see what we can do. And also kept an eye on the job market. But every time, I thought, oh, this is a job that I probably ought to apply for. I remember thinking, I really don't want to do this. I want to do what I'm doing now and help grow this business. And suddenly we are 13 years later and still every so often we check in and go, how is it? How's this going? And we still really enjoy it and have learned so much doing it. And we were saying earlier, weren't we, about do you give up your practicing certificate? Are we still practicing lawyers? Still feel that there's a bit of lawyer in me, but I'm really not lawyering anymore. You said you did a bit of drafting and it was kind of like your comfort zone.
Yep. It was, again, moved away from actually doing legal work to really running the business a few years back now. And turning back to it this week has been an eye-opener. But also quite good to sort of do it again for just for a short while anyway.
It sounds like from your story, you had Donna saying, here's an opportunity here, but it can be challenging for people to figure out what would the next move be. And if they can't figure out what that is, they will just revert back to what
I was super lucky. I don't think I would have done it and built a business or had the opportunity to business or even thought about it had Donna not gone, I'm going to go and do this, and it's worked really well. But I also think there are a lot of positives. I mean, it's crazy to say that there's a lot of positives about being sacked while you're on maternity leave. I think in a way it does give you that opportunity to reassess your career, whereas there's a lot of people I've worked with, particularly men, who, partners in law firms. I mean, I remember when I first went in-house because I was at Baker's and, doing these huge corporate deals. I mean, I'm going in-house, I've had enough. I don't want to negotiate a warranty anymore. I'd literally come to a stop. And a lot of the partners just went, I kind of wish I could do that, but I've got responsibilities. I've got a big house, kids in private school, etc. I can't do it. And the same, I think, when you, take a break and have a child, you kind of hopefully get a bit of an opportunity, which is a bit crazy because you're looking after a baby. But at the same time, you get the opportunity to go, how do I really want to work? And actually, there's this great thing since we started this, there's been this revolution in legal services where you can use your knowledge and experience and network and work really differently to the way it used to be. Before we started, we didn't know that we were at the start of this revolution. LOD and Obelisk and all these other people have created an opportunity, particularly for women, particularly with people who are doing other things, looking after kids or whatever, to work at a good senior level.
And when we first started bringing in other lawyers and working with us, it was predominantly women who were mothers who wanted to work more flexibly. And it was a great talent pool from which to draw. But it's been interesting also as the years go by. It's not just women by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot of men who really want to work this way. And it's been really nice to see that, actually. And it's a brilliant opportunity for both men and women.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And also, we've been working, work from home, work flexibly for 13 years. And so when lockdown started, we just went, we kind of lost our USP here. But, in a good way, because we just went, I remember my partner saying to me, literally 18 months ago, maybe 2 years ago, going, you should use Zoom, this thing called Zoom. I've heard of it. Literally mansplaining like I've never.
Like everyone just got with the program in lockdown. Yeah. We knew all about it. all about it.
We've been doing it for some time.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you mentioned is, when you started LegalEdge, the business model that you developed wasn't really there. The traditional law firm model was what everybody was following. So how challenging was it for you to kind of develop a model that has now sustained itself over the last 13 years, and you're seeing other companies do similar things slightly differently, but the way that you started it was kind of revolutionary at the time, right? So how challenging was it for you to kind of get that thought out of your head into practice of like, we could actually do this?
Yeah, I'd say it was quite challenging. It took some time to sort of think through the model and how it would actually work, and to not be just doing things the same way as every law firm was doing at the time. And also there was definitely a big education process for businesses you spoke to about how you deliver services differently, how you're a very different resource from a law firm. And there was a lot more having to have that kind of a conversation in the early days. And you did find that until you actually were able to work with them to show them how different you are, it was sometimes quite difficult to explain it in a way that, that they could see the difference. It's all sort of talk rather than, and then once we started working with certain companies, they really did see the difference. And then, then it sort of snowballs, because then, they talk to other businesses about how we work and, refer and all of that. So it's definitely got easier as time has gone on, and it feels like less of an uphill battle in terms of the education process. It feels much more of a conversation now, and yes, there are others doing something similar, and it's sort of, which in some ways, first you sort of think, oh God, we've got other competitors now, but in other ways, it's actually very flattering because it validates the model, and it just shows that it's a very good model and it works really, really well for businesses and for us.
We have never really had to go out and recruit, because we've always had people coming to us saying, hey, we want to come and work for you, which is absolutely brilliant. The first person that we took on, really, do you remember we got an email out of the blue from somebody saying, hey, I'm giving up, I think she'd been working at Capita or one of the big companies as an in-house lawyer. I'm going off, I've decided to move to Chamonix and ski, and I want to do a bit of legal stuff on the side. Can I come and work with you? And I laughed and I emailed Donna and I said, I too want to move to Chamonix.
And I want to ski as well. I want to be a skiing lawyer.
Yeah, I want to be. How do I do this? Thinking it was a joke. And then actually we got really busy and we went, we need this person. So she was our first hire, and it worked really well. And then, what I was going to say is the model really has evolved over time, and it's become an organic thing, true to our ethos, which is working with people that we like working with and doing a good job and knowing what we do well and what we don't want to be or should be doing, and trying to help people fit into that.
Yeah, I think it's amazing because I worked with LegalEdge for a while, and I remember sitting around the table on the first time when I came to the office and everyone introducing themselves and saying where they lived. And I was like, everyone's like, I live in France, I'm in the French Alps, I'm in Spain. I was like, this is amazing. Like, we're all in the same team working on legal projects for different clients, but actually have the flexibility to work from anywhere. I just thought it was mind-blowing before COVID, right? But it's just amazing to think outside of the box and recognize that we can serve our clients and we can do it in a way that works for our lawyers. And that's why I think the model works so well.
Yeah. And it's not going to work for everybody. But that, I think the important thing is working out who it does work for and how it can work, and being flexible, and also not doing the rigid, this is, you must fit into this box, or you must have this career trajectory or whatever. There's now so many options and opportunities for people. That we're very clear when we talk to people. We say, this is how it works. This is how much you can earn, how much you want to work, where you work. You know, you fit it into, if it can work for you, that's great. Come and work with us. And we love that. Yeah.
And I love how it's developed over time. And like you said, the way that the team has grown has been organic, and the way that business has grown, it's developed over time. And I think one of the challenges for many high achieving women is they want to know the full path, right? So if they say, I want to do something different, they need to understand, like, how is this all going to figure out? Otherwise they won't take the step. So as you reflect on what you've done and the journey, what advice would you give to someone who says, I think I want to do something a little bit different from what I've been doing in the past, but I'm a bit nervous or fearful about what might happen? What advice would you give to them based on your experience?
I'd say don't hesitate, make a change, and don't be afraid to fail. And from failure, you learn and you make mistakes, but mistakes are there to learn from.
I think that's particularly hard for lawyers, actually, because we're not used to failing.
Yeah. And don't view it necessarily as a failure.
No.
I think, it's all about how you deal with whatever challenge comes your way, I think. And, in the early days, I remember always thinking, where am I going to get business from? How am I going to grow this thing? And realizing quite early on that you just never know where it's going to come from. And the things that you think, the people that you think you're going to get business from are often completely different to what you actually thought. So don't be afraid of that. And take the opportunity to talk to lots and lots of different people, and, just go and explore different options, and you just never know where it's going to come from. So that's been my experience.
I think also it helps, as you get older, you get a little bit more confidence and willing to take the rubbish, quite frankly. But I remember, I remember when I was at Eversheds, the senior partner, who was a woman, who was probably the only female corporate lawyer at Eversheds. I think she might even still be there, saying, you need to be more confident. And I just remember thinking, how do I get that confidence? Mm-hmm. And then I think particularly when you go on maternity leave, for some reason I didn't have this, but I know a lot of women, it takes a hit. Your confidence really takes a hit. How am I going to get back into it? And I just think, actually, maybe because I was a bit older, I just went, I'll be fine. And I don't know why I did that, but I did, and opportunities come up, the more you make those opportunities, actually. I was really lucky that I was in contact with Donna. We'd stayed in contact, actually you left private practice really early, didn't you? And went in-house. I went much later. And I think then we kind of reconnected through going to web seminars and things.
Law firm seminars.
Yeah. So it's just really lucky. But I think you do make that luck. You make your network.
Yeah.
And the more you talk to people, the more you find. The other thing I remember as being an in-house counsellor is that I thought all my problems were just my problems. And I wasn't very good at asking for help. And I also wasn't very good at talking to others and going, oh, you've got this as well. Turns out lots of people have the same problems as you. So it's about having that network. And there's so many more out there, like being part of Priority Council and all the other networks talking about the same issues that come up.
Yeah. It's so, so important. I think that piece around networking and making sure that you're continually expanding your network and staying connected, the majority of opportunities come through referrals. They come through someone saying, hey, come and work with us, or do you know this person? But so many people don't actively network. And so that's something that I try and encourage people all the time, especially women, to say your network is golden. If you're not using the opportunity, then you're not going to see the opportunities. So I'm glad to see kind of how it all worked out in terms of you going to work.
But also, I think that can be quite hard because I was in a corporate team that was predominantly male in a massive law firm. And somebody's saying to me, can you go out and network? I'm like, who do I network with? I'm not going to bring in the next BP or, whoever it is. But I think I wasn't really thinking about my female network or the greater network. I just didn't really know who I should be talking to and how.
Yeah, exactly. And it's recognizing that networking isn't always the go and work the room with the business cards. Like there's other ways to network that can feel more comfortable for women. And it's finding what that looks like for you, I think is really important.
And not necessarily being golf. I remember a senior partner at Evershire saying, you need to learn to play golf. And I'm like, when? I'm doing all-nighters here,
Yeah. Absolutely. So what would you say is next for LegalEdge? I've seen with the lockdown and everybody working remotely, it's like, okay, this is the new way of doing things. Post-COVID, there's hybrid working. And LegalEdge has been doing this for over a decade. So now that the market is changing and shifting, is there anything different that you're going to be doing, or do you have any particular plans in terms of growth and expansion? Or are you kind of like, we've been doing this, we continue to do this and provide the amazing service that you've been providing?
I think definitely more of the same. Continue to provide what we've been doing and continue to grow, both on the bringing in additional businesses that we work with and bringing in additionally good lawyers. We're currently looking to bring in some more lawyers because business has been booming despite lockdown. And we currently need even more lawyers. So finding the right people is always, a bit of a challenge, but it's a great challenge to have, actually. So we continue to grow, and we are always looking at ways of improving and developing the services that we provide. So it's more of that and honing in on what we do and how we do it better.
Yeah. I agree. I think we've got so much. It really has been we did a look back at the last 18 months recently, because you kind of just slightly kind of come, not necessarily coming out of the pandemic, but thinking, how have we coped with it so far? And just gone, actually, we did a really good job in keeping our clients happy, growing our client base, because I think we were lucky. We were in tech, so our clients, we really got some great clients, e-commerce, lots of tech clients, online learning, health, med tech, of course, has gone crazy in the last 18 months. So we did a really good job of growing the business, but also making sure that our team was happy and supported, because, of course, everything changed, as you said. You're trying to homeschool, juggle, deal with life being entirely different and never knowing what it's going to be in any particular month or time. And a lot of our team had a lot of challenges with toddlers, or somebody who's not with a partner who's got a child for 1 week and then no child the next week, or one of our team who was living in Spain who decided to go home to New Zealand, the challenges with getting there. It's been crazy. So I think we are now had a quick look back and just gone, we did a good job. Let's now look forwards and work out what's next for us. But I think it carries on being good growth organically.
I think one thing that pandemic taught us is you can't do too much communication. I think we definitely focused very early on when lockdown first happened on making sure that we were communicating more with our lawyers. Before that, we were doing it regularly. We were doing regular face-to-face meetings, etc. But obviously when that stopped, we couldn't do face-to-face. We developed a program of making sure that we were talking to our lawyers on a weekly basis throughout lockdown, and also doing good know-how sessions, stuff that's useful. So not just, we did have very nice sort of get-togethers where we'd have a chat, but also useful stuff that helped our lawyers and feel more connected rather than less connected. So I think that's definitely something we learned in the pandemic, more so than before, and we will continue that program going forward.
Yeah.
It's been successful.
Yeah, we thought we were the work from home specialists, and we talked about lots of other businesses about how to do it, and in the process realised we need to be doing it better as well.
I do think you are very focused on making sure the team is happy, and not every organisation does that. So even if you are a remote organisation, or whether you have an in-person team, I think making sure that your team is happy is a piece that a lot of companies miss. And I think
a lot of them talk about it as well without doing it. There's a lot of talk of culture. We've got to do culture. You've got to do ESG or whatever it is. We need that tick in the box rather than just going, how are we going to be more human about this and make sure that everyone's okay? It didn't feel to me like rocket science, but we've definitely all been in places where it wasn't.
I think that's probably why. I think we've all been at different organisations that haven't been the most healthy organisations in terms
of a polite way
of wanting to work there. So it's definitely something that we have focused on, even way back in the early days, even wanting to be an organization that cares for its people, and we want to work within. That's been really important for us.
Yeah. So awesome. So if people want to learn more about LegalEdge, if there are lawyers listening to this who are saying, hey, this sounds like an awesome company, I want to work for them, where's the best place for people to go? And also, if there's any tech companies or companies that are looking for flexible legal support, how do they get in contact with you, and where's the best place to connect?
So our website, of course, which is legaledge.co.uk, and info@legaledge.co.uk is the best way to get in touch.
And we're always happy to talk to people. I love having those conversations, particularly whilst we haven't been seeing people face to face, but we are starting to do that again, and it makes a massive difference. We're always happy to chat through. And actually, I think what you're doing, Janine, is absolutely brilliant. I love talking to lawyers and people who want to do things a bit differently. And, I'll say up front, we're not always going to be right for you, but I like having that conversation. And just trying to find different ways of doing things and making people aware that if they're not happy, they can do something.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to put the link to your website and the email and everything like that in the show notes for this episode. And so I'm super, super excited. It's been awesome talking to you both.
Thank you again, Janine.
Thank you so much. Are you ready to make bold career moves? Are you tired of coasting in a role or career that is no longer a good fit for you? Are you ready to create more of an impact through the work that you do? And are you ready to get paid more and be recognized for your brilliance? If you are nodding your head or saying yes to any of those questions, then lean in, because I'm about to tell you about my newly enhanced coaching program. The Career Changemaker program, formerly known as the Career Clarity Academy, is my signature coaching program, which is a transformational coaching experience focused on helping you to develop and advance in your career. It's going to help you to clarify what type of career move you need to make next, create an unapologetic vision for your career direction, and then leverage your existing experience so that you can make the transition as quickly and easily as possible. And finally, it's going to equip you to articulate your value so you can really shine and attract stellar opportunities and negotiate amazing offers so we can move you into a role that you're really, really excited about. It pains me to see so many amazing, brilliant, talented women fall into the category of coasting female professional. And what I mean by that is these are women who are coasting through their day-to-day at work, who are complaining to loved ones about the work that they do and the environment that they're in, who are scrolling job boards looking for inspiration but not taking any action, who typically do what others think they should do rather than what they really want to do, and who feel trapped in their careers, the careers that they've built for themselves, but they feel frustrated that they don't know how to figure out a way out. And what I want to see is more women who adopt the career changemaker status. And the career changemaker is the woman who makes an impact through the work that she does, who is excited to talk about the upcoming projects that she's working on, who networks strategically to create new opportunities, who is unapologetic about what it is that she does and why she wants to do it, and who recognizes new opportunities during seasons of change, and who is really taking control of her career so that she can become a trailblazer in the area that she's really passionate about. If you like the sound of becoming a career change maker, then I invite you to make an application for this program. Now, it is application only because I want to make sure that the right women are in the program so we can ensure that you will get the results that you sign up for. So to make an application, you want to head over to lightboxcoaching.com/program. There, you're going to book a call with me and you're going to be directed to a career change assessment. That assessment is going to guide you through the different pieces of the puzzle that you need to be addressing in order for you to make the type of transition that you want to make. And once you take the assessment, we can have a discussion to see if we think the program is a good fit for you and if you are a good fit for the program. So I invite you to head over to lightboxcoaching.com/program, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Career Changemaker podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, I would love for you to let me know what your biggest takeaway has been. So head over to Instagram, tag me at Career Changemaker, and let me know your thoughts. What did you like most about today's episode? I look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, keep working towards your career goals, and we will speak very, very soon.